Hey YouTube shooting people, I want to do a video on how to replace a front sight on a Glock 34. That'll be part 1. Part 2 will be how to replace a rear sight on a Glock 34. Let's go over the sights first. The sights are from Dawson Precision. Why Dawson Precision? I think they make some of the best products possible. Dave Dawson's pretty awesome. He's also a grandmaster shooter. Parts are made in the US and they're really made for competition shooting. And their technical support is beyond reproach in every way, shape, or form. This happens to be, for a Glock 34 you need to, so the front sight, let's get back to that in a second. For the front sight, it's basically a fiber optic. What comes with this? What comes with the front sight? Well, in the package, right here, is made in the USA, by the way, like I said. Some instructions. You need the instructions, but this is a fiber optic sight. So here we have just a sight removal tool supplied with it. Okay, it's just a little wrench, basically. It comes with the sight and a couple of replacement fiber optics in red and green, and the sight. Here's the sight. Now I don't know if you can see this on camera, but the part that faces you is serrated so you don't get any glare. There's also a recess here, so when you melt in the fiber optic it really stays in there, if you know what I mean, and it doesn't, you don't get a halo effect because it's recessed. Okay, so you don't get a halo effect in bright sunny days. And there's also a notch. You can barely see it, I think, right here. I don't know how well it's going to focus. Let's see if we can get that to focus. There's a notch in it that allows you to cut that fiber optic out very, very easily. So they're just nicely made. The rear sight is right here. The rear sight's an adjustable sight, and that'll be installed in a part 2 video. Here we go. It's a really nicely made adjustable rear sight for the Glock 34. Okay, it's got some oil on it. These are steel. Again, the rear sight's really nice. It's serrated in the back here so you don't get any glare. And here's the info on it. I'll do this in a little bit more detail, but this is it. There you go. It also comes with some tools. It comes with a screwdriver, which is pretty nice, and it comes with a nylon punch and an Allen key to install the sight. But we'll get into that in more detail when I do the part 2 video later. Okay, what do you actually need to install this? Besides the tools they sent you, not much. Of course, you need the Glock 34. Duh. And you're going to need some Loctite. You want to Loctite that sucker on there. Loctite 620 will work just great. I got this from Dawson as well. I tend to like these little packages because I don't use Loctite all that often. And honestly, you don't want it drying out on you. But just get some Loctite. You want a good Loctite retaining compound. The front sight 620 works really well for rear sights as well. And this is just a little tube of it. It's resealable. All right, you need that. You're going to need a brush to clean things up. You're going to need some rubbing alcohol to degrease things, so you don't have an issue with the Loctite adhering very well. And you'll also need a couple of Q-tips. There they are. And of course your Glock 34. First thing, most important, there's no magazine in here. Physically inspect the chamber. Point the gun in a safe direction, pull the trigger, and just break it down. You all know how to break down a Glock if you're watching this video. Okay, we take it apart, take off the slide, remove the recoil spring, remove the barrel, and there we have our slide. Make sure your slide is clean when you start this. Okay, don't get it all lubed up. Strip it completely, get all the oils off of it. You're also going to need a vise. The vise is going to, I don't have a vise with smooth jaws in it, so what I do is basically take some wood blocks. These happen to be just paint sticks, you know, sticks that you use to stir a can of paint, and we just put them in the vise so it doesn't mar the slides at all. The wood won't bother your slides at all. Taking off the old sight. Glock 34 is such a great pistol. I don't know why they put these sights on them. They're kind of crap, if you ask me, when you get right down to it. The rear adjustable sight on the Glock 34, I think, is not so hot. The Glock 34 has a hole right here, and you can just go in there with the wrench that's supplied. Find that screw, get on it, and just loosen it. Take it out. It's as easy as it goes. There's the screw. We set it aside. We take off the sight. That should just come right off, and there you have it. Okay, you can put it back together. There's nothing wrong with this sight. It's totally usable. No fuss, no mess. So you can put it. I would put it in some kind of Ziploc or something. A tiny Ziploc. Keep it for later. Maybe if you ever want to sell or trade the gun, somebody might want the original sight on there. Who knows? There's some value in keeping original parts to your gun, even if you replace them, for resale consideration later on. Now you got the hole here, and one of the critical steps in this whole install is to clean that very, very well. The other thing that really helps is an air compressor to be able to clean that out. So first, let's just take the air compressor, blow all the crap out of there. My air compressor might kick on, and if it does, we'll sit through it together. I should also mention that it's worthwhile having a pipe cleaner just to get in there and clean it out. This cleaning step is absolutely critical, and has to be taken seriously. You're not going to get good adherence of the Loctite to the slide. You really don't want to have that situation. Now, when you get this bad boy, you're going to have your front sight like so, and it's going to be oiled because it's made of steel, and it will rust on you. So what you want to do is take it apart on your bench. There's a screw for it. There's the sight. And what I want to just simply do is now degrease it by just taking a Q-tip. I use isopropyl alcohol to degrease things just well. You can use denatured alcohol. Whatever you have that's a good degreaser. Go in there and degrease this thing carefully. Now, on the slide, you'll typically get oil in here, or grease, or whatever you use for your gun, and you really want to make sure that's all gone. And not only that, you want to really make sure that the agent or solvent you use to clean out that area is also completely either evaporated or by just letting it dry, or you can take a compressor and just blow all that out of there. You know, put some air on it until it dries off. That's all you have to do. Alright, so there we go. Take a clean Q-tip now, go through there again, make sure it's nice and clean. You don't want, again, this is really a very important step. Don't neglect this step. You'll actually see the alcohol strip stuff off pretty well. I hope you can see what I'm doing. But all I'm doing is degreasing this very, very carefully. Go ahead, dry it off with the air compressor. If that air compressor kicks in, all I'm going to do is shut off the video for a second. Now, do a dry fit. Okay, so we have the frame, the sight removed, and just see if it fits in there. So it fits in real nice. I think there's about 1/1000th in terms of room on either side that allows this thing to go in there, right? And that's what it's going to look like. Right now, the height on a long slide like this is going to be dependent on your rear sight. I got the adjustable sight, so this is actually a 0.3 high sight here to match up with the rear sight, which I'll go through again later. All right, so easy peasy so far, right? No big tragedies at the moment. And we get my Loctite tube. You get your, this happens to be a Leatherman S2. I just picked one of these up. They're real super handy. And we'll just cut off the top. There we go. And of course, this is resealable. Just put this back together. Set it aside. Alright, so I got my Loctite. I got a degrease slide. I'm good to go. What else do you need? I forgot one important thing. You're going to just take a little bit of Loctite. And I mean a little bit. This happens to be 620. So it's a blue Loctite, so you can get it off. We just put a little drop here. Right? Right. And now I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to basically take what is essentially a little toothpick. You don't necessarily need to use a toothpick. You can use a punch like this. And all we're going to do is take some Loctite, some of that Loctite, and get it on there. You know, you don't need a ton, and put it on the hole here around it. Yeah. So this Loctite will actually allow you to take it out of the gun as well, right? So there's my Loctite on there. Where else do I need some Loctite? I'm going to need some Loctite. The other thing is I like the isopropyl alcohol. It evaporates real quick. Then here's my screw, right? Take a little bit of Loctite and just put it on the threads. Yeah. And again, you know, a little dab will do you. These things don't really go anywhere. And actually, you should get in the habit of when you're cleaning your gun to go ahead and make sure your sights are tight. Yeah. Okay. Now for this, all we're going to do is take that screw, put it inside of our wrench like so. Reposition the camera slightly. Yeah. It'll stay for you. Then we just take our sight, make sure it's the right orientation, the serrations face the shooter. We just stick it on there like so. You want to make sure it's fairly straight, and then just go ahead, feed that screw through into the hole and tighten it up. Now you want to get it fairly tight. Don't be afraid to crank on it too, but don't crank on it like, you know, a gorilla and strip it out. I don't think you can strip these out. They're metal. I mean, not with a tool with a handle like this. You're not going to strip it out. So you just get that as good as tight as you can, and then take a look at it and see if it's square on the gun. So you can eyeball this. If it's not square on the gun, keep an eye on it. Right, like that. And what you can do, come up to your vise. So this is cocked a little bit like this. Yeah, I'm exaggerating, but what you can do is simply put it in your vise, nice and easy, and just straighten it out a little bit. You want it nice and straight so when it lines up with the rear sight, you're you don't have any issues. So I'm gonna a little bit more. Yep. That looks pretty good, right? If you're super anal about this, you can also think about taking a caliper and measuring both sides to the end, so from here to here, and making sure it's dead on. That looks maybe I went a little bit too far. This is really about your ability, how good you are, how good your eyes are in terms of lining up stuff. Some people are real good, some people aren't at this. But you want that, you really want this thing dead nuts. What I would do then is go back, because you did mess with that sight again. Just crank it again. Make sure that's tight. Look at it again. And you should be good to go. Okay, so once you have this on there, you're going to have, maybe you might have a little excess Loctite. That's where your toothbrush comes in. Go through there and make sure you get it cleaned up. Get all that crap out of there and off. You don't want to glue your gun together, right? It's as easy as that. Glock 34 install. So there's the front sight. It's nice looking red fiber optic. She's a beauty. And I'll do part 2 for the rear sight, which is a little bit more involved. We'll get rid of this Glock sight and we'll take it from there.